Hi there. My name is Kristen Brenner, and I'm the owner of Integrity Mind Body. I work with smart, aware women who really want to connect to their inner strength and resources so that they can build a strong connection with their kids. I am also a self-care evangelist, and I believe that the more that we as moms take care of ourselves, the healthier we are, the more connected we are to our own inner strengths and our own authenticity. And the byproduct of that is that we're better parents. But we take care of ourselves for us because we deserve it. That's our reason. So today I want to talk a little bit about overwhelm and how it affects our relationship with our kids. And I want to give you a simple practice to begin to find awareness of where stress lands in the body and to begin to be able to settle. So what I always talk about with self-care is that we can really change our present moment experience with some very simple practices. And so these practices are simple, but they're not always easy to incorporate day to day. It takes building new habits. And so I want to give you this practice today and see if you can begin to incorporate it. So obviously, the coronavirus has given us a lot to practice with and work through. Life has changed a lot for us in the past few months. We've had these big shifts, and there are big feelings for all of us associated with these shifts, not just for us as parents, but as you all know, for our kids as well. So the reality is, we don't know when things are going to settle. We don't know what our new normal will look like when this all shakes out. And this can create a lot of anxiety and overwhelm for kids and for parents. So what's it like for you when you feel overwhelmed? This time of coronavirus has given us so much to feel overwhelmed about. We might be working at home. We might be working outside the home, wondering if we're bringing this virus home to our families. We are trying to manage work and school online. We're managing Zoom classes, meetings, working with all these other platforms online. I know for me and for many parents that I talk to, we're cut off from our sources of support. So our friends, grandparents, extended family, and our broader community. And our kids are home all the time. They never go anywhere, right? They can't, poor things. So all of this is enough to make it feel like we're going to lose it many times a day. And I hear that all the time. I'm losing it. I can't take it anymore. I know that feeling well. So for some of us, when we feel really engulfed by the stresses of life, it comes out in how we talk to our kids. And it's easy to see how the way that we talk to our children in these moments is a clear manifestation of the stress that we're under. These moments can perpetuate this strain, right? They make us feel bad about ourselves, and they can create a kind of rupture in the relationship with our kids, adding to the cycle of worry and anxiety for them and for us. So that's a lot to kind of take in. But the good news is there are things that we can do for ourselves and for our kids that can help change that experience. So the practices that I talk about on a regular basis are all about building these new habitual responses to stress that can help us calm rather than create more stress and anxiety. So we can get a lot of bang for our buck out of these strategies, right? Because not only are we benefiting from them ourselves, but our kids benefit from them in a stronger relationship with us, and they also learn by watching us. They see us doing these practices and they recognize and realize they can do this as well. So you have the capacity to change this experience of overwhelm, and by learning these strategies, you can show your kids this capacity as well. So what is it like for you when you feel overwhelmed? Are you able to connect with what's happening in your body? Where do you feel the stress? Can you begin to identify these thoughts and worries that lead to overwhelm? For me, it's often, I have 4 kids, it's one kid after another coming to me asking questions or being silly or needing a lot of attention. And it can also be, I've had a lot of talks with my kids in the last few days, me having to ask them multiple times to do simple things that they really know they should be doing. So, what do you do to care for yourself in these moments? I want to share with you this simple practice that allows us to really sense what we're feeling in our body. And this is the beginning of self-care. We first have to know, what am I feeling? What am I feeling right now? And once we can answer that question, we can answer the question, what do I need? So we have to know how we feel first. Then we identify what we need, and then we can provide that for ourselves with some pretty simple practices. So I always tell people self-care does not have to be bubble baths overlooking a snow-capped mountain, or, wine in a hammock on a beach. I guess you wouldn't drink wine on a beach. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be these grand gestures. Self-care is simple, simple, simple. Something you can do in the moment. It needs to be accessible. Otherwise, it's not actually care. It's creating more struggle for yourself. So what I talk about are practices that you can do in the moment as soon as you begin to notice that you're feeling overwhelmed. So this is a simple embodied mindfulness meditation that you can do yourself at home anytime. Begin to allow yourself to settle into your seat. Notice the grounding points of the body. If you're seated on the floor, this may be the sides of the legs. If you're on a chair, you might notice the soles of the feet on the ground underneath you. Wherever you're seated, find awareness of the sitting bones. Notice the hands resting in the lap. And you might notice the length of the spine. And begin to notice the breath as it moves through the body. Inhaling and exhaling. What sensation do you notice? Bring mindful awareness to sensation of the breath. You might notice where you feel the breath most prominently. Maybe at the nostrils, maybe a gentle swirling in the back of the throat, or maybe the rising and falling of the chest or the belly. See now if you can call to mind a recent time when you were struggling with your child or children. Allow this to be a more simple struggle, so nothing too activating or overwhelming. Keep the event that you choose to practice with at about a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Bring the interaction into your mind's eye and allow yourself to really go back to that experience, remembering the feelings that it evoked in the body, in the mind, and in your emotional state. How does the breath feel as you place yourself back in this difficult situation? What sensations do you notice in the body? See if you can simply identify pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Notice any emotions that may be arising as well. Is there any sensation in the body that you can notice along with these emotional states? Where do you notice this in the body? You might place a hand over the part of the body where you feel this stressful interaction lives. You might notice it in the chest, a tightness in the chest. Maybe there's a nauseous feeling in the belly. Maybe the hands become clenched. Wherever it is that you are feeling this tension, see what it's like to place a hand there. Bringing this sense of compassion to your present moment experience. Just letting yourself be with your experience exactly as it is in this moment. Nothing that you have to do right now about this. Now, allow yourself to come out of sensation in the body for a moment and let yourself come to the mind. How does the mind feel in this moment? Notice if it's active, lots of thoughts happening. Maybe avoiding. Maybe it feels muddled or extra crisp and sharp. Now, let any attachment to these thoughts or thinking just drop away. And allow the attention to come back to sensation in the body. Again, you might place a hand over a part of the body. Maybe take a deep breath, inhaling fully through the nose, exhaling, letting the breath release through the mouth. Notice once again how the breath moves in the body. Notice the quality of the breath, sensation through the body once again. And one more deep breath. Inhale, exhale, release. Notice if sensation in the body, the breath, the mind, or the emotional state has shifted in any way. Just finding awareness. Simple, present moment awareness. What do you feel right now? You might notice that the sensation in the body has shifted from one area to another. You might notice that it has dissipated somewhat. You might notice that it's still there. What is it like to be with that sensation right now? Now allowing that difficult situation to completely drop away. Letting go of any focus on the breath, any focus on the body. Just being exactly as you are in this moment, whatever that might be. Come back now to notice the length of the spine. Notice the grounding points of the body once again. Notice the breath simply coming in and out of the body, nothing to do. The breath just moves on its own, exactly as it needs to. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes. I would love to hear from you now about what that experience was like for you. You can send me a message. You can email me, Kristen@integritymindbody.com. Visit my website. Visit me on any of the social media platforms. I really would love to hear about how that was. Were you able to find a shift in sensation? Were you able to ground into the present moment, the experience of where the body is in your seat right now, and into the sensation of the breath in the body? And if that was able to shift any sense of overwhelm that you might feel. So that's a practice you can come to again and again and again. And the great thing about these practices is the more that we do them, the more we kind of ingrain them into our brain. We're actually building new neural pathways, new habits form about how we react to these difficult moments throughout the day. So let me know how that was for you. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining me today.